Well, hello everyone. I think today it's time to revisit the great colored pencil comparison, and today I'm putting two Derwent styles up against one another, the Procolour on the left versus the Chromaflow on the right. So I want to see what the difference is between these two. The Chromaflow is vibrant, blendable color with a smooth laydown, whereas the Procolour is a strong, smooth, clean colored pencils. How can you tell the difference without trying? So I am buying sets of 12 of these brands that I'm comparing here, and you can see the colors are similar but not quite the same. The paper that I'm using today is this Bristol Vellum. It's a Koh-i-Noor, just a real affordable brand. The Bristol Vellum has a little bit of texture to it, and I thought that would be good for our test today. So just looking at the colored pencils here, you can see that we've got a pretty good arrangement of colors. So let's take a look at things here. Now, the ones on my left are the Chromaflow, excuse me. They have a diameter that's very similar to Prismacolor. The colors match up with all the other Derwent colored pencils you'll be familiar with if you've used Inktense. The color numbers are the same, the names are the same, and they're a pretty close match. I tested a few of them with Inktense, and they match really well. Now you can see in comparison with the Procolour here, they're a little bit bigger. They're almost the size of the Derwent drawing pencil if you've ever played with those. Look at how much bigger that is on the right. That's becoming a personal favorite of mine to have a thicker colored pencil, and I think it's because I'm kind of heavy-handed. Now, before I go on with this, I need to tell you guys, I am not a gifted colored pencil artist. I use colored pencils mainly over watercolor, but I have found that when I use Prismacolor, I get a lot of crumbs, and that's why I wanted to do this test. So this is really, if you're a colored pencil aficionado, you're not going to get a whole lot out of this video. This is just for people who are casual colored pencil users. And I will put a link to my entire playlist of colored pencil comparisons at the end of the video. So right out of the gate in classic and fashion, I've labeled these incorrectly. I am actually testing the Chromaflow here, but I've got it labeled as Procolour, so just ignore that. Just know that the gold-tipped pencils are the Chromaflow and the silver-tipped are the Procolour. My initial thoughts of these colored pencils are that they are yummy. They're very soft. I really love how the pigment goes down. Now I'm using kind of a light pressure here on these little test squares, my swatches, and I'm kind of trying to go 4 passes. So I go down, up, and then we'll go up again. So I can kind of get a feel for what it's like to layer with these. They're beautiful. I really have no complaints. There are no crumbs coming off of these, and I kid you not, they are as soft as a Prismacolor. Beautiful pigment laydown. I'm really enjoying this process. So far, I'm very, very happy. So let's see where this takes us. I'll read the color names off to you while you're watching the swatching a little bit sped up here. We have Sun Yellow, Flame, Scarlet, Blush Pink, Lilac, Denim, Blue, Basil, Grass Green, Natural Brown, Black, and then finally the white. And on this white here, I'm putting down a little bit of black so that you can see that it's not going to be as opaque as, say, a gouache or anything like that. But let's test it on actual black paper. This little sketchbook that I've used for this series to test the opacity of the white colored pencils is a Stillman & Byrne Nova. It's their tricolor notebook. I really like this one. The paper's nice and thick. If you're looking for a fun sketchbook for dry media, this could probably handle a little bit of wet media, but it's just a nice little sketchbook. So let's see, let's write it down here first. We're going to do the Derwent Chromaflow, and this time I got it right. And you'll see the light pressure versus hard pressure. So the first square we're going to do is light pressure, and you can see it's not quite as pigmented as some of these others up here in this row. I would say just it looks about like the Lero Rembrandt, maybe a little bit darker than that. And then with the firm pressure, I think we're coming in about where the Prismacolor Verithin or maybe the Winsor Newton Studio pencil comes in. Now that's just my observation. If you want to freeze frame this and turn it to black and white, then you can really tell where those gradients lie. So that would maybe maybe give you some indication. As far as using a white pencil if you're going to use it for a highlighter and watercolor, I would say either go ahead, splurge, pick yourself up the Caran Luminance, or just get a Prismacolor Premier white color pencil. I have a lot of those, and I tend to use them on watercolor. I bought a set of 12. So while we're here with this black, let's go ahead and test the Derwent Procolour. Actually, you know what? We can't, because the Derwent Procolour does not come with a white in this little set. So we'll just make a note here that there's no white in that set. I'm sure they make a white, it just didn't come in the set of 12, and that was just kind of a barometer I set for myself, that I would only purchase the sets of 12 to do this test. And by the way, that no one's sponsoring me on this test. I just am really curious, and there we go, finally correcting my mistake. I'm really curious about these colored pencils. I do want to become more proficient in colored pencil. I think it's incredibly portable and a lot of fun to use. I like the different effects you can get on different kinds of paper, and it's just another way to express myself artistically. So I really just want to explore and figure out which colored pencil is going to be the most bang for my buck, which ones I'm going to like the best. So far I do have some that I like better than others, but the test is not quite done yet, and these are the next two in line. So let's look at this Buttercup Yellow. So totally different feel. They definitely feel a lot drier and just not as soft to use, but that pigment laydown is really, really nice. And look how little that wears down even still with that huge pigment deposit there. Let's go to the next color and see what that one is. Their orange is called the deep chrome, and it's going to be a little bit more of almost like a quinacridone tone to it. But look at that. That's just a lot more rich pigment. I don't know if it's conveying on the camera, but it sure was when I was doing this test. Both of these have really decent pigment deposit. They just have a very different feel. So let's speed through this swatching, and then we'll connect again at the end. Once again, I'll read the color names off for you here. We have Buttercup Yellow, Deep Chrome, Primary Red, Cerise Pink, one of my favorite colors of Derwent's, by the way, Imperial Purple, Prussian Blue, which is a very nice one to have, Spectrum Blue, that'll be a lot like a cyan, and Sap Green, good color to use, and then a Grass Green, which is pretty comparable to the other Grass Green. This one's a little bit lighter. Burnt Umber instead of a natural brown, and then finally Yellow Ochre, which I'm really glad they include a Yellow Ochre in this set. That's one that I tend to use, and an Ivory Black. Okay, well, now that we've got our full set of swatches to compare, you could say that they look a lot alike. I think one of the blacks might be a little bit more rich in black than the other one, but we will find that out as we're using it a little bit more. So we've swatched them out, that's great, but I want to do a little bit more of a test. Let's compare the Chromaflow versus the Procolour, and this time I will get them right as far as where I label them. And we're going to make a circle and kind of trying to blend the primaries just to see what kind of blends we get. I'll speed this one up too, because I think the blending action itself shows up a little bit better when the film is sped up. So let's make some circles and let's get to it. Okay, let's start off with the red, and we're just kind of putting in a little bit here and there. I'm really not going for anything, magnificent here. I'm just kind of trying to do the first layer, get some pigment down, do some overlapping, and just kind of see how these mix on the page. Going back in with the red here, especially over that layer of yellow, and then we'll come back in over the yellow. And what I really do like is that every layer that I put in, you can really tell where there's some blending going on. Now, granted, these are the shades that they included in the set, but that blue-red mix really is not a good purple. It just turns more into kind of a muddy brownish tone. I don't know, I really didn't like the purple mix with these two particular colors. And again, if you're working on a set of just 12, that's all you would have. Probably they're just too warm to really mix together to give a good purple. But the orange is vibrant, the green is vibrant. Now I'm applying a lot more pressure, and you can kind of see how really we've just been able to mix kind of a gray down there in that red-blue mix section. So we'll keep working with it here. I'm going to add some of the darker blue in. I went in with that light blue first, and then now we're going in with that denim shade. Now back in with the red, just really kind of meh with the blending on this one. And the mineral spirits that I'm using this time are in the form of this Finesse colored pencil blender pen. I almost think it's not really mineral spirits. I'm pretty sure this is like an alcohol marker, which you can use your blending alcohol markers with colored pencil if you want to. I'm trying to pick some of that up, and that didn't work too well, but let's play a little bit with these colors here, and let's just kind of see how they blend down here. I'm going to try and get that purple to come out just a little bit more because it's just ugly on that sphere. I really don't like it, and I just cannot get a good purple to come out of this set. No matter which blue I use, no matter how I look at it, I really just don't like that purple. So moving on to the Procolour, and again, that's not a fault of the pencil. That's just the colors that you have in the set. So if you bought some others, or a different set rather, then maybe you could have a good purple blend. You need probably a cooler red and a cooler blue to do that. So here we are mixing on the Procolour side, and now these are the thicker markers, the ones that are the thicker pencils, the ones that are thicker around. They have a wider diameter, but it's a much drier laydown. I feel like consistently the pigment is a little bit richer on this one. Having no trouble getting everything to blend here. Still not crazy about that purple, but at least it's not just a blah gray this time. It's actually, I can see hints of purple in there. So now granted, I don't know when you would ever really draw anything like this, maybe if you were drawing a marble, but just to let you know what kind of a blend you would get if you're working on paper. And I know I'm not doing anything really neatly or artistically here, I'm just really playing just to try and see what these pencils can do. So we'll go back in with this blue, finish up the blend, get some more red in there, and now we'll come in with this Finesse blender again. And I didn't quite clean it off there, so you can see we got some smudgy spots. But overall, I really like the way the Procolour blends a lot better. So you can see here the color on the right, I don't know if you guys can tell just from looking at your monitor, but to me the color on the right is a lot more vibrant. The Chromaflow almost appears as though it has some kind of a haze over it. Now that could be this Finesse blender. You can always burnish your color pencil. You don't have to use any kind of chemicals to blend. But let's slow it down here and take a look comparing at that purple blend, because that I think really is quite telling. At least anyway, as far as if you had a set of 12 and you wanted to mix the red they give you with the blue they give you to create a purple. I mean, these are both beautiful products. Derwent has a lot of range in their colors, and these are no exception. I'll put links to everything in the description in case you are curious about doing some shopping. Those will be affiliate links, by the way, and I appreciate everything that you do that way, because that certainly does go to help the channel. But you can kind of see there's a lot of yellow coming through on this on the one on the left here with the Chromaflow. It's just weird. It's almost like it looks green, like the yellow, I don't know, like some weird color appears there from out of the blue. And then here, this one is a true blue and a true red making purple. At least that's the way it looks to me. So now that I've got these done and I know how they mix, I think, right now anyway, I'm a fan of the Procolour. As far as feel, I like the bigger, thicker pencil, but I have kind of large hands. So that I kind of like. The Chromaflow, though, was not unpleasant to use, and I really did enjoy it. I like a little bit more of an impactful color laydown in general, so the Procolour would get my vote for that one as well. But I can definitely see a use for the Chromaflow. Before we get to a real drawing of this, because what I want to do is draw some real simple Disney character, actually, and then we're going to compare one side to the other side. We'll do one side in the Chromaflow. Here is the close-up of that, and we'll do the other side in the Procolour. But I want you guys to compare this. I don't know how your monitor is adjusted, but I'm getting a lot of browns and greens out of that one, and then this one just really seems to blend with more of the true colors. And again, this is a Finesse blender. Firstly, that is the first time I've ever used that Finesse blender, and secondly, this could totally be user error because I am not really highly skilled at all in colored pencil. This is just something that I enjoy, something that I want to share with you guys just to kind of experiment and play with on our own. So looking at these two again, let's go ahead and get a picture going, and let's see what it looks like in action, two sides, one picture. The drawing that I want to do today is of Envy from Disney's Inside Out. Here's our little reference photo, and we're just going to do her head. I don't really have an aqua in here, which is something that I probably would have gone for. if I were using a larger set, but we're just going to make do and see what kind of colors we can mix using these two sets here together. So on the right, we are using the gold-tipped Chromaflows, and I'm starting with the green, just getting an initial layer down. No problem. I'm going to layer over that with some blue, trying to get kind of a greenish blue hue to come out of this. I am going to jump through this because this video is not intended to be a tutorial. It's really just intended to demonstrate the functionality of these colored pencils. So, and again, even that is a cursory overview. Just really having fun with this though. I'm enjoying it. I'm feeling like I should have left space on her cheek here because this just immediately turned into brown, and I don't know why I didn't, but for her little blush on her cheeks, the one on the other side actually will turn out a whole lot better because I left white space underneath it. I had forgotten that these blended so muddy because there were a couple days passed between the footage, and I had forgotten that the colors didn't quite blend too well here. Yeah, I just wasn't thinking. So at any rate, here is the initial lay down, just getting the colors of the eyes in, her mouth, the hair. And I'm really not going through this with a lot of, desire to make it look really perfect. I'm just trying to see what these pencils can do. I'm finding out that they hold the point really well. That's a good plus for these pencils. The thing that I continue to get frustrated with is this, her cheek there. The colors are just not blending correctly. I do like, though, the light layers that are mixing for the skin tone. I thought that they mixed very well on there. Eventually the hair will mix in as well. But let's go ahead and get closer to the end of this side so you guys can see how the right side of the drawing came out. All right, so here we are. We're going to go ahead and pull the tape off, and I'm going to try and use that finesse blender. It's just not making her cheek pink. It just kind of looks like a bruise. So my bad, that's okay. I will definitely take responsibility for that one. But I really do like this finesse blender for the rest of it. And like I said, I've never really done that before. You really have to clean the tip of it pretty often. But as far as a blender, I think you can really see as this speeds through here how nice and rich it helps those colors become. So we're going to go in with a paint pen here and fill in the whites of her eyes, or excuse me, the little reflections on her eyes. And I'll go ahead and do just a little bit of highlights there. And let's see, that is the Chromaflow side. It's okay. I was not, overly thrilled with it. So let's go ahead and dive into this side. And this one, at least I remembered that the cheek, I really don't want to layer that over the green. So yeah, just remember your color theory, Anne. But at any rate, this is really working out to be a lot more pleasant on this side. I just really like these Pro colors a little bit better, despite having a drier laydown. Of note, both of these colored pencil sets really held their point well. Nothing broke. Nothing had to be sharpened excessively. That part was really, really nice because a lot of times when you get into colored pencils, you don't know what you're getting if it's shipped to you, and sometimes you've got some breakage within the pencil that you don't really notice until you're working on it. But on both of these sets, that just didn't happen. So I'm really happy with all of that. Now, right away, just at this level, this is kind of, I think, my second pass over this. I feel like the value, if I were to blend it now, would be about the same as the other side. So let's go ahead and see what happens when we continue with it and add more layers. Honestly, I'm enjoying this side so much. I'm enjoying how the pigment lays down. I really like this drier touch. I thought that I would really want a good heavy pigment lay down like you find in Prismacolor, but with no crumbs. But I'm really enjoying this drier feel to these colored pencils. I didn't think I would like that, but I truly do. I'm wishing about this point that I had more to choose from, so maybe I will get a bigger set of these. So with these two, at any rate, the Procolour, I think so far really gets my vote. Let's continue with the drawing and let's see how this ends up. Now her cheek area is going to be an unfair comparison because I did put the red on top of the green, and of course, surprise, you get mud. But on the left side here, you're going to see how vibrant it looks, and it just really does make for a nice, clear pink when you don't try and mix those colors. But I do really like that pink, mixing it with some purple here. We'll throw some purple into her hair. I'm just really doing this really quickly, not really looking, like I said, for any real quality artwork here, just kind of testing these pencils and putting them through their paces. Really enjoying the ability of the Procolours here to just lay down that vibrant pigment almost on a first pass. I feel like I just really was able to get a lot more vibrancy on this left side with the Procolours. Now when it's all done, you'll have to chime in and let me know in the comments which one you like better, which one you think was a little more vibrant. And if you've ever tried these pencils, then, you know, let me know which one you prefer. I really enjoyed this blending pencil, this Finesse blender. I've never used that before, and I rarely use the alcohol blenders in my marker sets either, but this kind of opened up a whole slew of opportunities for me. Really enjoying how smoothly this blender just really passes that color around, and then of course you can come back in and add more detail after those lines are kind of you know, washed away with that blending. But you really have that layered effect there when you do that, and I think that's one of the things in colored pencil that just makes it come out so vibrantly and beautifully, is that it really does possess those layers. You can really put in those layers. Let's see here, we'll do some final pieces here. We'll get those the highlights in her eyes, and then we'll take a final comparison look and see which one really grabs our attention. I think, for my purposes, it's going to be the Procolour. But you guys have to tell me, which one do you like better? Which one do you think would be the one that you would purchase if your only choices were these two? As far as quality, I can tell you they're both going to be great because they're both Derwent. They both are going to have all of the light, fast, and pigment information that Derwent offers from their website. So all of that is going to be a really good bonus with these. And as much as I feel like I really don't think you can go wrong with either choice here, I really have to lean toward the Procolour because despite it being more of a dry laydown, I just felt like the pigments were just that much richer. But we're not done with the test yet, so we will keep going and we will keep experimenting, and hopefully we'll catch you next time at our next installment of the Great Colored Pencil Comparison. Thanks for watching, guys. Everybody stay creative and have a great week. Bye now.